The day before Thanksgiving, 1971, a quiet man in a business suit walked up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland, Oregon, paid cash for a one-way ticket, and gave his name as Dan Cooper. It was the last true identity anyone would ever know him by. He boarded Flight 305, a short 30-minute hop to Seattle, and settled into seat 18C near the rear of the plane. He ordered a bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, and waited calmly for takeoff, indistinguishable from any other business traveler on board. Once airborne, Cooper passed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. Assuming it was simply a phone number from a bored passenger, she slipped it into her pocket unread until Cooper leaned in and quietly told her, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." He opened his briefcase just enough to reveal a tangle of wires and red cylindrical sticks. Whether it was a real bomb or an elaborate bluff, no one on that flight was willing to test the theory. Cooper's demands were oddly specific and calmly delivered: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting at the gate in Seattle. No shouting, no visible panic, just quiet, methodical instructions. The FBI and airline scrambled to meet every demand. The plane circled Seattle for hours while officials assembled the cash and parachutes, giving investigators time to plan, though no one yet knew exactly what they were planning for. When the plane landed, Cooper allowed all 36 passengers and most of the crew to leave in exchange for the ransom and parachutes. He kept only the pilot, co-pilot, and one flight attendant aboard for what came next. Cooper directed the plane to take off again, this time toward Mexico City, flying deliberately low and slow, under 10,000 feet, with the rear stairway of the aircraft left down and open to the freezing night air. Somewhere over the dense forests of southwestern Washington, in freezing rain and near total darkness, Cooper strapped on a parachute, tied the money to his body, and walked down those rear stairs into the open night sky. He was never seen again. When the plane landed in Reno, Cooper was gone. No confirmed parachute, no confirmed landing, and critically, no body was ever found in the extensive search that followed across the rugged Pacific Northwest terrain. For weeks, ground teams and helicopters combed the forests below the suspected jump zone. The terrain was brutal: dense trees, steep ravines, and freezing temperatures that made survival, let alone a clean landing, seem increasingly unlikely. The FBI opened an investigation codenamed NORJAK. Over the next 45 years, it became one of the longest, most exhaustive manhunts in Bureau history, reviewing more than 1,000 possible suspects without ever confirming a single one. In 1980, a young boy digging on a riverbank along the Columbia River found a deteriorated bundle of cash, nearly $6,000, still bundled with rubber bands, confirmed to be part of Cooper's ransom money. That discovery only deepened the mystery rather than solving it. How did the money end up there? Did Cooper survive and discard it, or did it simply wash downstream from wherever he actually landed or died? Over the decades, hundreds of named suspects emerged. Some confessed on deathbeds, others were named by relatives, but not one has ever been definitively, conclusively matched to the case through physical evidence. A man named Richard McCoy Jr. carried out a strikingly similar hijacking just months later, leading some investigators to wonder if he was Cooper himself. But McCoy was in custody at the time of the original hijacking, ruling him out definitively. Cooper's hijacking permanently changed American aviation. Airports rapidly installed metal detectors, and airlines redesigned aircraft stairways specifically so passengers could no longer lower them mid-flight, a modification the industry still calls the Cooper vein. Rather than fading into obscurity, Cooper became something like a folk hero. Annual festivals still celebrate the hijacking in towns near the presumed jump zone, and his story has inspired dozens of books, documentaries, and films over 5 decades. When the FBI closed the case in 2016, it released roughly 35,000 pages of case documents to the public. Independent researchers have pored over nearly all of them, searching for a detail the original investigators may have overlooked. One such researcher, Eric Ulis, has spent years applying new forensic techniques to old evidence, even organizing annual gatherings of fellow Cooper enthusiasts to compare notes and theories in painstaking detail. In July 2016, after 45 years without a definitive break, the FBI formally closed the case, redirecting resources elsewhere. It remains, to this day, the only unsolved commercial aircraft hijacking in American history. Independent researchers have continued digging long after the FBI stepped back, poring over thousands of pages of declassified case files, still searching for the one detail investigators may have missed. Search efforts continue even now, decades later, with volunteer teams periodically returning to the Columbia River area, still hoping physical evidence like a decayed parachute might finally surface. Whether Cooper survived that jump into the freezing dark, built a quiet new life somewhere, or never made it out of those forests at all, remains completely, genuinely unknown. If cases like this genuinely stick with you, hit subscribe. New stories like this one every week.